Good morning guys and welcome back. Now this week so far has been an absolute waste for me. Monday I came in with all good intentions to get on with the sileghty and get things done and dusted and get things closer to actually starting this thing up. As it turns out, it's that time of year again where I have swifts that decide they want to try and nest in my workshop. Now last year that wasn't too bad because I wasn't here full time, so it didn't really bother me. This year it does. I don't want them defecating on literally everything in the workshop, you know. I can't be having fresh paint on something and then have a little bird crap decide it wants to land on it. So I spent the entire Monday making up measures so they can't get into the workshop anymore before they start nesting. Because the problem is I don't want to disturb them once they're here. Once they made their nest, they're in. I'm not going to make them move. But I've decided to stop them coming in the first place so I can actually get on with some work without them being disturbed. Then yesterday was Tuesday. Unfortunately the Skyline decided it wanted to throw a tantrum and drop the driver's window by the time I got to the bottom of the motorway. So yesterday was then a case of fixing that by robbing the parts from my race car Skyline to put into the road car Skyline to make that thing a-okay again. Today is going to be a case of taking the engine out of the race car Skyline, as that was sold quite a long time ago actually. It was sold way before Christmas and the guy is now ready for it to be dropped off to his place. So I'm going to set the time lapse up and see how quickly I can get the engine out of this Skyline. But first things first, I need to tidy up this place because, my God, it's a mess. It's just literally, there's just stuff everywhere. I can't work like this. Skyline's covered, so tidy, GoPro, engine out. Let's see how long this takes. And there we go. Just like that, we have a clean workshop ready to rip the engine out of this Skyline. So let's set the time lapse up on this one and see how quickly I can get this engine out. So That was nice and easy. Next thing on the list is to get the epic battle out of the way of getting this wiring loom out. Now I hate playing with these because there's just not enough room in the footwells of these Skylines to get these out in one piece nicely. It's a pain in the ass. Whereas the S13 on the other hand, that absolutely flew out. This has got so many big plugs and relays and bits and pieces on the end of it. It's not just the big connector that you get for the ECU, it's everything else that's bolted to it as well. So the struggle, the pain is real, but we'll carry on fighting and we'll get it out. And out quicker than I was expecting and easier than I was expecting. The wiring loom is now bagged up and ready to go. Now I think it's probably for the fact that I've done this a few times now, I've managed to find out a little process that actually works for me to get these looms out. They're not easy. There is a lot of plugs on the end of them and they are an absolute pain. If I show you the bag of bits, you will be able to see what I'm talking about and what the battle is that you have when taking these looms out. Haha. Okay. So, on the S bodies, you have this one plug, and that is all you've got to try and get out, is just that one. On the Skylines, you have that lot. That lot has got to go through that little hole, and it is not fun, it is not easy. So what I find is the best way to do this is to remove the two bolts holding the heater blower to the bulkhead. You can undo two of those, pull the heater motor forward, only probably an inch at most, but that seems to be enough just being able to then feed these through one at a time. So pull it through so far, get that loom out, pull it through again, get the next bit through, you've got to push it back through again because otherwise you've got too much of a bulk up here, so you need to push it back through. It's a pain in the backside, but it's done, it's dusted, and we are now ready to get this place clean and tidy and ready for the next day. So let's stop it there. So after spending the day fighting with getting the engine out and getting that all sorted and then tidying up the workshop, I've spent today taking out the seats from the Barossa as they are now sold. So I'm going to spend the rest of the day in the sunshine nibbing back the rocker cover for this. So I've got my sandpaper, I've got some water, I've got plenty of sunshine. Start things getting warmer. So my new radiator turned up. I went for the thicker core black radiator for a S14/S15. The mounting points for the S14 and S15 are in the wrong place for the standard S13. So as you can see, I've had to make a rather elaborate radiator mounting brace, I suppose you want to call it. I could have done something much simpler, like, you know, sent this one back and got one specifically for a 180SX, but you know what? I'm gonna make this work. So this is what I've got. I'm gonna drill some holes in here and just countersink those just so it looks a little bit more pretty. But yeah, this is all in place. It's a little bit elaborate for what it is, but I'll get that one welded up now, and yeah, hopefully it should be done. So that's that all welded up and ground off, and it looks perfect. All the curves are where they need to be. Yeah, fits perfectly. It's gonna focus. There he is. Fits perfectly. Now it is completely over elaborate, but you know, why not? Do I drill some holes in here? Do I? Or do I just leave it as it is and paint it like gloss black? I don't know. We'll think about this, thought about it, and holes had to be drilled. So I'm happy with how that looks. It took an absolute age as well to get these holes drilled, countersunk, painted, and then remove the paint from the inside there, so it has a little bit of contrast on there, but I'm happy with how that has turned out. Next day's project is gearbox. So rubber bits and pieces have been removed from the gearbox. Time to get this thing clean and get some paint on it, get some high build etch primer, get some paint on it and get it back into the car and hopefully get this thing running this week. So we fast forward a few steps and we get to this stage. Yes, much better. So that is gearbox now all fully stripped, painted, put back together, and ready to now go back in the car. I am very happy with that and how it's turned out. All I need to do now is plug up the coverage to get underneath the car, get the rest of the car understilled where I need to whilst the gearbox is out, and get this thing back in there. And it is at that point that I think we should actually call it a day for this video. It's been a bit all over the place. We've had Skyline engines out, we've had gearboxes, we've had all sorts in this video. So a bit of an interesting one, a bit of mix and match. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Stay in, stay safe. I'll see you next time.